Hello, I'm Sarah Flint, and I'm here to talk about negotiation. Those conversations where you're working towards an agreement on a contract, a raise, or a promotion, flexibility within your working hours, or more responsibility within your current role. Those conversations that spin around in your head and make you feel queasy in your stomach. I'm a certified professional coach with the Canada Coach Academy. I work with people just like you who are carving their own path in the world. Before I became a coach, I studied math at the University of Waterloo and worked for many years as a project manager in the telecommunications industry. I know what it's like to be the only young woman in a class, at a table, to feel like conversations were happening around me. I knew that I was doing a great job, but I didn't feel like I had much control over my own career. And as for salary negotiations, I had no idea where to start. Looking back now, I wish I'd taken a different approach. As a coach, I help people find new ways of looking at situations, develop their emotional intelligence, and build those communication and interpersonal skills that were left out of our technical education. I'll give you a new way to think about these negotiation conversations, some questions you can ask yourself so you'll feel more confident to get to where you want to be in your career. Have you ever found yourself in a role where everything started out great, and then you woke up one day and realized you were ready for more responsibility, more flexibility, or the trickiest one of all, more money? That's exactly what happened with Fatima. She graduated at the top of her class and joined an engineering firm. She loved her job and was so excited about her products. Fast forward a few years, and she was ready for a promotion. Her performance reviews were all positive. Her peers were getting promoted, but she was feeling left behind, stuck, and she didn't know what to do about it. She didn't mind having difficult conversations about her projects with her manager, but she didn't know how to bring up something like this. So she kept working while that uncomfortable feeling was growing, and she started to feel more desperate. Then one day, she applied to a job in a different department because it was easier to take a new job than have those uncomfortable conversations with her own manager. And then, after a year in that new department, she started to feel restless again. You can avoid difficult conversations and be okay in the short term, but it doesn't pay off in the long run. And I know because that's exactly what I did in my first job. And like Fatima, I was so relieved to have the new job offer, I didn't even try to negotiate my salary. Fatima had convinced herself it wasn't about the money. And we can tell ourselves it isn't about the money, and it might not be right now. But salaries add up over time, and I don't want you to look back with regrets. According to Forbes magazine, 70% of managers expect a salary and benefits negotiation when they make a job offer, but they don't tell you that. That means most of the time, the salary is up for negotiation. They're expecting you to make a counteroffer. So what do you do? Are you like Fatima and sign immediately, terrified that if you even as much ask for a few more days of vacation, the offer will evaporate? Chances are pretty good that you are. In that study, only 34% of women and 46% of men made a counteroffer. So the majority of hiring managers are expecting a negotiation, and we're leaving money on the table. Those brave souls who negotiated ended up with a starting wage 7.4% higher than the original offer. That could mean tens of thousands of dollars down the road. And imagine what it does for your confidence. I'm here to encourage you, to help you plan for that conversation. And as your coach, I'll tell you that just asking for $10,000 more isn't what I mean by a plan. We're going to look deeper, figure out what that $10,000 really means to you. What might be holding you back? And together, we'll create a plan that you are committed to following through with. Are you ready? Let's go. Grab a blank piece of paper and start thinking about a situation at work or in your personal life where you want to take a step forward and need to negotiate with someone else. Okay, let's write down, what do you want? What are you negotiating for? Be specific here. I want a promotion to senior technical lead with a starting salary of $85,000. I'd like to negotiate for a 4th week of vacation. Or I'd like a promotion to be the sign-off person for the technical specs for my team's product. Great. That was the easy part. Now we're going to go a step deeper. I want you to think about what will be different when you have that. What will it feel like when your new title commands the respect of those colleagues and you're included in senior level meetings? I will feel recognized and respected for the contributions I have made. When you use that additional income to buy a larger home for your family or take your dream trip, I will feel the connection between my hard work and the life I can provide for my family. This is what brings it into focus. You need to be clear on what it is that you really want and what will change in your life when you have that. And make sure the goal is what you want, not what your parents or society is telling you. What do you want, and how will your life change when you've achieved it? If you don't really own the reason you want this, you won't be as committed to achieving it, and you might not feel satisfied when you get it. Okay, let's enjoy that feeling for a minute. Remember Fatima? She went to all the trouble of starting over on a new team because she felt she wasn't being recognized and rewarded for her contributions. What if she'd shared her concerns with her manager? She may have been next in line for a promotion. Or what if she'd negotiated an extra $5,000 in her salary? Getting clear on what you are negotiating for is important. You might be surprised at what you learn when you take the time to think it through. Now, let's think about who else is involved. What is their perspective? What if we approach this negotiation as two people working on the same problem from different angles, rather than a fight or a compromise? You'd like to make some more money, and your manager really wants to keep you on their team. Now, I didn't say your manager wants to keep you on their team and not pay you a cent more. That would be an assumption, and like most assumptions, it's likely not true. We've all got our own best interests at heart, so try opening up your conversation with the benefit to the other person. If your goal is a promotion, you could start by saying, I've been working on developing our new product for 8 months now, and have come up with a new design at a significantly lower cost. As a senior project manager, I'd be able to gain the buy-in that we need to quickly move this through to production. Walking in with the mindset that you are partnering in a conversation towards a positive outcome can really shift the mood from combative to collaborative. And that 2 mm shift sets the tone for a positive outcome. So let's write it down. Who else is involved? What's their perspective? How could they be better off after your conversation? Okay, so the plan's coming together. How are you feeling about all of this? You might be thinking, sure, Sarah, this all sounds nice, but I've asked for a promotion before and it didn't work out, or I might get fired if I ask for more money. As your coach, my role is to help you uncover assumptions, unhelpful stories, little white lies you're telling yourselves. Those things that get in the way of achieving your goals. Deep down, you might be afraid that you won't know how to handle things when you do achieve your goals. And yes, there's always risk involved. But chances are that if you haven't negotiated a raise recently or ever, you're leaving money on the table. And that's something you should be afraid of. Let me share something about why we feel afraid. Our lives have changed a lot, even in the past 200 years, but our brains, they haven't changed at all. In order to keep ourselves alive, we're programmed to keep repeating the same things we did yesterday. As far as our primitive brain knows, everything else is risky, and that's why moving outside your comfort zone can feel scary. Rationally, you know that having a difficult conversation at work is not actually putting your life at risk. So you have to tell your brain and body that it's going to be okay. Understanding the physiological reasons that are holding you back can be helpful, and that puts you back in control. So write it down. What, if anything, is holding you back? And give yourself some time to think about it. Is it truly a valid reason or a nice excuse you're telling yourself? Statistically speaking, we know that your hiring manager is expecting a negotiation, and the cost of doing nothing is 7.4% of your salary. Sounds to me like a pretty good reason to tell your brain and body that everything will be okay. You are in control now, and it's going to work out. So write down your plan for the negotiation. What will you say? When will you have the conversation? Where? And who else might be able to help you? I will book a meeting with my manager on Tuesday to talk about my promotion. It's important to them to keep me on the team with this big project coming up, and I'll give them some examples of how this promotion will make their life easier. Great! Now you have a plan written down. And on a scale of 1 to 10, write down how committed you are to following through on your plan. I bet you didn't say 10. What are you thinking about that's preventing you from being at 10? Write down a few ideas of what you could do to raise your commitment closer to a 10. Talking through this and practicing this conversation with someone you trust can also be really helpful. You know exactly what you need to do, and that other person can provide support, encouragement, and accountability. Okay, so how are you feeling now? You have a clear goal. You're already thinking about how amazing you will feel when you achieve it. You know who you're working with and what their ideal outcome is. You're ready to approach your plan with a collaborative mindset, and you've realized that your excuses are just excuses, and you're not going to let them get in your way. Let's imagine that Fatima had made a plan. She'd practiced with her sister, and when she spoke with her manager, she successfully negotiated a promotion and a raise. Her self-confidence took a big boost, and she set a new trajectory for her entire career. As your coach, I believe that you can do the same thing. Your goals wouldn't be your goals if you didn't already have everything you need to achieve them. And you do. Thank you.